To build the country's model, the country's controller, we will just open the controller folder, controllers, and then we can clone one of these. So first of all, we have to create a file named countries controller.php. Remember, in the raw PHP convention, our controllers must be named like that: customer accounts controller, post controller, books controller. Those are the ways to name our files, our controller files in raw PHP. So we've created an empty countries controller. The next thing we will do is to copy an existing controller, posts controller. That's basically the standard. Go to a countries controller and paste it, because we don't want to type out everything one by one. When you're better skilled with raw PHP, you can type out one by one. So the first thing we're going to change is to make sure that we actually the name of the controller is countries controller, and then it's talking to the countries model. So we don't need the users model here. We delete it. We don't need the post model, so instead we need the country model. Remember, we created the country model here, so that's what we're calling. So if we have the country model, we will just look into what we have here. So we have find all posts by a certain user, otherwise find all posts. So we delete this. We don't need to find all countries by a certain user. Alright, so this basically finds all posts. So what we'll do is to quickly use our browser tools to edit all these posts, because we're no longer dealing with posts. We change the posts to countries. So first of all, we start with the plural, and we go to Control plus H on your keyboard. Type Control, hold Control key, and press the H button. Control plus H will open Find and Replace for you in whatever browser you're using. So we are looking for posts, which is plural, and we're going to replace it with countries. So we're trying to replace all appearances of posts with countries in this file, and make sure that is exactly, you start with the plural. So we're clicking on replace all. As you can see, replace all. When I click, it changes all appearances of posts in this file. So the next thing we're going to look at is the singular of it. So every time there is a post, okay, but before the singular, we're going to look at all the model names. So we take this. Remember that this starts with a capital letter. Then we'll paste it here, and then we'll look for it. We'll replace it with a country singular. Then we'll replace all. So pretty much replaces all appearances of post with country. So the last one is the singular of posts. So we're going to look for where there is a singular post, like here, and we're going to change it to a singular country. Replace everything. So very good. So we're sorted right now. So we now have different methods in our controller that can handle different things. So whenever the index is called, the index will simply list all posts. What this does is just find all posts, all countries, and then output it to a particular view file that is called countries, a folder that is called countries, and a file that is called index.twig. This one, just if you give it the ID of a country, it will go and find a country in the database and send you the details of the country, and so on and so forth. As you can see, this one just deletes. So these are different default functions that handle different things, and of course you can create your own, as we'll see further down in the tutorial, where we can just type function and find all users in this country. So we can have our own, and we'll write our own custom function to do this. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do in the next video is to actually create these view files. Remember that this is basically, for instance, this function is basically adding a new country, if you want to add a new country, and this is the file, the view file that the user will see when they want to create a new country, or the admin. So we need to create this. So in the next video, we will just create it, and just in the resources folder,